This is The Drive with Jack and Tom.
Welcome back. It is hour 3 to Drive with Jack and Tom, the Dean Transportation on the Road Tour. We are live at Reno's North. Tom Crawford, very happy to welcome. And he is going to be with us on a weekly basis out at our remotes. A new segment entitled The Brain Game. And of course it's Lindsay Huddleston, sports psychology consultant, founder of Sports Psychology Solutions. He's never the problem, he's always the solution. I like it. And he is a native Detroiter based in Lansing. Been an author, teacher, coach, corporate lobbyist, national speaker for USA Basketball. Welcome to the show.
Thank you both for having me, guys.
I want to talk a little bit about the psychology, the brain game, if you will. When a season starts to go south, and let's say a high school player, you're past the midpoint of the season, not like you're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, you got 4 losses, or your 5th loss.
If you're a Purdue Boilermaker, and you start off 0-3, or Detroit Lions, soon to be 0-3. How do you deal with that?
That's really tough, extremely tough, because it seems it's either a black or white issue. It's either you're 4-0 rolling into a playoff type season, or you're looking at what the winter sports are going to be for high school, or who's going to get traded. I think the most important thing for any team is to try to hold on to that culture. It seems we're having a fight to either keep a winning culture or not slide into a losing culture. So I think the key is to stay present in the moment, as tough as it may be. We can talk as coaches, we can talk as sports psychology consultants, as great broadcasters, but a lot of these players, whether they're in high school, college, or in the pros, they have to deal with their classmates every day and fighting that fight. They have to deal with the people on campus every day, the bloggers and whatnot, and it's really tough because you can get a supportive circle, but how do you respond to all of the outside people that in essence really don't matter, but for many people they don't have that mental toughness and fortitude to stay focused on the moment no matter what the outcome is.
See, this is where I think coaching is so vital, particularly at the level, even high school level, and it's because it's your responsibility to make sure that those minds are compartmentalized and those distractions that you're talking about get into play. I hate the term, this is a must-win game. You know why? What if you lose the game? Does that mean it's over?
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And that's a terminology that we carry from generations past. And when you speak of this particular generation, the selfie generation is not really ready for that. If I don't like the way the picture looked, Jack, I can take 10 more and get that. We remember a time when there was a Polaroid, we had to wait 10 days for them to come and hope you didn't blink, etc. So it's really hard when you put that pressure, and many of these young people on all levels, professional, collegiate, and high school, have not become comfortable being uncomfortable. They're not really comfortable being in the space that they don't like. And if it's something that challenges them, they have the opportunity to shut it down.
Which is the key to life, being comfortably uncomfortable.
But we know that as adult men who have gone through experiences and have learned, and I think a key element I share with my coaches during this time of year, no matter what your record is, it's time to get a little vulnerable. It's time to get a little vulnerable with your players, maybe with your small unit, and share something. Because what happens is, if they don't get experience, a life-changing experience from someone they see every day, they'll never be able to make that connection. Now, I know a lot of our coaches are coaching until their season ends, but you still have to give a little bit of yourself to get the buy-in. I look at it as a relationship. How can we expect to have our significant other be totally on board if we're not able to be a little vulnerable ourselves? And that's tough, because that does not go with the term coaching and being vulnerable.
Is that why some coaches, some very successful coaches, Tom, have tried to make practice as uncomfortable as possible, so that anything can happen in a game is going to seem like a walk in the park?
It's a very good point. Michael Jordan said the reason why he's so confident playing, or was so confident, because he went so hard in practice. Coach Don Showalter with USA Basketball, numerous gold medals with their youth level. Whenever they would lose a game, he would make everything in practice the next day about competition. So it would really keep them in that mindset. So I do think that is a good idea to create that kind of environment in practice, but either on the front end or on the back end, there has to be some interpersonal connection that you make. This generation, if they're come out of a household where it's not your normal, nucleus that we normally see, when they get in front of a strong male figure, they may not be used to a strong male figure in an authority role, even though we've coached like that for so long. So what do you do to make that connection to get that person to be able to buy in, despite having a real tough practice and tough post game? But you got to find some softness in there somewhere.
You know, the other thing, Lindsay, that I'm curious about when a team is out of the playoffs and they don't have a chance to meet their goal, win the league championship, the coach will start bringing in some younger players. So he's already starting to build towards next year. And is that fair to the present seniors on the team who might be on a par with one of those underclassmen? I guess that's a deal breaker, though, right? Or maybe he's even doing better than those underclassmen that they want to build in the future. How should that be approached?
That's definitely tough if you talk about an outgoing senior and an incoming underclassman. However, like we said it just a few moments ago, it's part of life. If you're not producing, there's someone who's going to be on your heels. If you're going to this major D1 program that all our young people want to go to, you're being recruited against on a regular basis. So let's not get a false sense of what's really there. If you're not producing on a regular basis, there's someone to fill your spot. And I don't think that's a bad thing. So it's really about, am I doing what I need to do? Am I not taking for granted that just because I'm a senior, I have a place here? And I think coaches are not left with nothing else to do but do that to keep the culture going for the future season.
Right.
Our guest is Lindsay Huddleston from Sports Psychology Solutions. And Lindsay, I think you were telling a story about an elite athlete from Denver.
Correct.
Coming into Michigan to get a different kind of training.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I was on the airwaves not too long ago, and I caught the ear of someone based out of near Colorado Springs, home of USA Basketball, and they reached out. They were really happy with the message I was sharing, and they were going to be in town on the west side of the state in coming weeks and wanted to see about connecting. So we're putting something together. So what's been great about the work that I'm doing is probably about half of my client portfolio are out of the state of Michigan, outside of the state of Michigan. But when I leave you guys, I'll go see a local student who's on their way to a D1 program too. So I'm able to give as much time as possible in this greater Lansing, Metro Detroit area. But through technology and the benefit of people traveling, I'm able to connect with people outside the state. And that's been a wonderful experience too.
And you have had relationships and involvement with the University of Michigan.
Correct.
Michigan State.
Correct.
A variety of schools, plus USA basketball experience,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Yeah, those are two great coaches, Michigan and Michigan State. That one coach, Tom, that you will probably know where his parking spot is down in Ann Arbor. He always grabbing my leg under the table, talking more and more. But it's been great being around those great coaches. I try to take information I get from them, not only to share to other coaches, but to let these young athletes who have all these aspirations know what the expectations are. A kid would be quick to tell you, I want to go D1, but the question is, do you have what it takes to be D1?
Right.
Are you ready to go?
It's got to be a fit.
It has to
Both
be a
parties.
fit.
You know, I mean, and you probably experienced so many different variety of coaching styles.
Correct.
There used to be the old fire and brimstone in your grill, and kind of rip on kids. What's the predominant style of coaching right now? I'm not calling it fanny patter, but is it more positive reinforcement than in your face?
I think you said exactly right when you say we've gone from this fire and brimstone that unfortunately no athletic director, collegiate or high school in America is going to support. They can't. They don't have the political backing to do it. So it's kind of like when we had the big switch from digital TVs and you had to have this adapter. You still can have the passion, but you have to have a different methodology. And like you said, it has to be a personal connection, but that's hard. Because so many of these coaches came up rough and hard,
Right.
and to make that transition, they feel that it's a challenge to their own
Well,
cultural
you have
values.
Maryland DJ Durkin, for example, who supposedly had that style. Now his situation is in jeopardy. We don't know. I mean, that's just kind of out there right now. But he's not coaching Terrapin, so everything that style is. And there was a horrific situation tied into that death of the
Sure,
player.
that's totally
so that which is you can't even look at it. You got to look at the whole picture of that. But I just think that kids aren't going to gravitate.
It's going to be tough. Mindfulness is one of the bases of my practice with USA Basketball. I present to a lot of their youth coaches a mindfulness-based presentation, but what it really talks about is being able to put yourself in as a coach to, one, be present in the moment, and two, not be judgmental. And I think that's one of the bigger issues because we judge this generation's values against ours. and it's going to always be a clash. One example I use, I may have shared with you guys before, is how many parents are going to pat their kid on the back for taking out the garbage? And the answer across all socioeconomic lines is absolutely not. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
My approach is, how about this? Because praise is this generation's currency. Instead of saying, good job taking out the garbage, say, I really like how you're being more responsible around the house. You've given this kid something to poke their chest out about their accomplishment, and you haven't totally betrayed your cultural values of thinking the
I
kid
got
is
you.
doing
That's
this.
a good approach. Excellent.
Well, but it takes, you being present in the moment to know what that young person needs. Coaches will tell you that too. They spend so much time with their players, and I always say, praise is their currency, but you have to adjust for inflation. So you have to know what formula each kid needs, and that only comes with time. You can't one size fit all. You can't fake it. You have to spend time to know what each person needs and deliver in that regard.
Our guest is Lindsey Huddleston. He is the founder of Sports Psychology Solutions, and he is a major proponent of finding flow. And what seems to be flowing a lot with teams at this point of the year are excuses.
Excuses come a lot, and it's unfortunate. I think you still have to set a standard. That's for that coach who may not like the way his season is going. And it's really hard because, when you're winning, everyone's your friend, everyone's around you. Then you add social media, you get that big boost. But the excuses come, and I think it's really important that you draw a line in the sand as far as what your expectations are. And not only as an expectation for your players, but the same for your coaches too. And I get into a little murky area when I'm on stage talking to a group of coaches who normally aren't the ones who the information is being shown to. It's more so for the players. But when I get with coaches, I have to tell them too, there's some things that you have to work on. A lot of them take issue with that, but that's part of the evolution. So you have to hold the same standard for your player as well as for your fellow coaches too.
Yeah, and accountability comes into play. Right? You got to be on time for meetings, morning workouts.
And that was the final straw with Josh Gordon, who's late for another meeting.
Right. So but my point is, so that hasn't changed then, has it?
No.
If you don't show up on time, you don't play, or you sit, or that should be a hard.
But the challenge with that though is, and this is not knocking any type of parent involvement, but many coaches you see are under fire because they may be at a program that has a very active parent team. So with that, you have to hear any and everything. I know we all have these first of the season meetings that says, hey, 24-hour rule, we're not going to talk about it. But when you have some influencers who are contributing financially, who just, when they speak, people listen, that's when you have the AD saying, hey, I don't agree, but why don't you go sit down with them? You have these other influencers. So you have a lot of coaches who are on eggshells because they don't have that carte blanche attitude that I'm the head coach, what I say is goes, and that's it. You have to kind of be open to other things. Whether that's right or wrong, I can't say, but it's a reality that you have to deal with in this new day of coaching.
Last thing I want to touch on this week, Lindsey, we've seen it in the National Football League last week. 2 kickers lost their jobs. And as Mike
That's the bottom line business of anything a kicker on an NFL
asked
team.
Mike Zimmer,
I saw that.
why'd you make the changes? Did you see the game?
I saw
He said,
that.
was it a hard decision? He said,
Black and white as you can get,
it was
right?
an easy decision. I can't make a kick. Next.
I saw that, and as a sports psychology consultant, one may think that I would be empathetic, but I wasn't. He was very direct. He said, did you see it? This is what you do. This is what we needed of you at this level. That is an expectation at this level. So I think his comments were appropriate. It was about business. You had one job to do.
Yeah.
And clearly what will probably happen is that young man will transition to another team, get with someone in my profession. If not me, I'm all open for that. But seriously, be able to reevaluate. He's going to come back stronger and better than ever, but it just won't be as a Minnesota Viking. But that's just the reality of it. That's the expectation. I wish that young man well, and I think what will happen is he'll be able to block out all the negativity. And as I tell all my athletes and clients, get a process. He'll be able to get a process that he can believe in and have faith in, and that should be able to help him going forward.
Lindsey, thanks so much for stopping out here.
This is
at
gonna be
Reno
fun
North.
moving forward.
Well, a lot of topics we're going to dig into here.
Great.
On the Brain Game, each Thursday. And if you want to meet Lindsey, you can follow him around from location to location. Next week, we're going to be at Steakhouse Philly on Kalamazoo. Looking forward to that. Charlie Summerly and company. He's probably going to try to change his look so he doesn't look like...
Yeah, there's a lot of coaches hanging out of that place. Yeah, there's a lot of sports
The
people.
coach
That'd be
spot.
fun. Yeah, you sound like a busy guy, Lindsey.
Well, busy is good. It's been really busy, but I saw a quote from a friend of mine says, sometimes we worry about too much on our plate, but we have to remember the goal was to eat. So I'm
There you
looking
go.
forward to eating.
I like it. We'll be right back with more. Stop out and see us. We're going to be here about 45 minutes at least.
Right.
Tom will be ordering some food.
Yep.
Are you going to eat here or are you going to get it to go?
I'm not sure yet. We'll figure that out.
Depends who comes in to see us. We'll be right back with more. It's a Dean Transportation On the Road Tour live from Reno's North.